The Christmas decorations may be ready for the festive season, but in pubs and restaurants across the region, there's little to cheer about. Last week, Devon came out of lockdown and was plunged straight into Tier 2 until at least December the 16th. For the hospitality sector and pubs like here at the Osler Inn, it's a huge blow. Under the rules, unless it serves a substantial meal with alcohol, they are unable to trade. As a wet lab pub, it means it will be the first Christmas landlord Simon Stimpson will not be working since he began in the industry when he was 17.
Well, I think it should have been better thought through. There's some very strange decisions why it makes a difference if you have a pie and chips between the pints, 7 or 8 pints, that's going to protect you from the viral infection. If it's a scientific fact, we should know about it. I'm not sure it is. I think it's just been badly thought through. And there's been a lot of money spent on furlough and paying people like myself, grants to keep me going and cutting VAT. With a little bit more thought, I could be employing people, I could be paying VAT, I could be paying taxes. The money that's been spent by the government on this would probably have been better spent on the NHS or wherever, or perfecting track and trace.
Do the rules make sense to you?
Not at all. When you've got senior government ministers squabbling over what constitutes a full meal and whether a Scotch egg is actually a full meal, it's bizarre. It's like living in a Monty Python sketch, to be fair.
And I see you've put all the Christmas decorations up, but I guess not many people are going to get to see them this year.
Well, optimistically, we put them up. My employees, one of my employees, Stacey, she put them up for us. So just in case, fingers crossed, things change and we might be able to open. But yeah, I'm feeling they'll be all back in the box without anybody seeing them, really.
Normally at this time of year, town centre pubs like the Queen's Head in Tiverton are thriving. But this Christmas it looks like there will be many silent nights ahead.
Didn't expect not to be open. It's devastating, really. It feels like that they are victimising hospitality trade. I mean, you can't even just walk in and have a pint anymore. You've got to have a meal with a pint. And to be honest, what we were doing, we were all safe, everything was sanitised, cleaned regularly all the time. We was working our butts off, and now they've just hit us with this again.
What's your message to those in power and the politicians that voted these restrictions in last night?
They obviously don't use pubs. They have no idea how it works. They're probably used to going out and having a nice posh meal with a glass of wine. It's not how it works in little local pubs.
Just what would it be like here, any normal Christmas compared to what it's going to be like this year?
Christmas was always amazing here. Everyone in here is such a big family. So we have a lot of fun, it'd be busy, good laugh. This year, if we're allowed to open, it's not going to be the same. Not at all.
Final preparations are being made in pubs which can serve food. However, with the rules meaning that you can only be with those who you live with or in your bubble, places like the Cadeley Arms are facing a challenging festive period.
Tier 2 means losing our drinkers, which are part of our country pub really, so it's a bit frustrating.
Just how has it been this Christmas compared to previous Christmases in terms of bookings and trade?
There is no Christmas. We are normally booked for the whole of December lunch and dinner, basically by the end of summer. We've come into this month, December, with probably about maybe 6 bookings. 2 of them have cancelled because they're from different households. They've actually rung and politely cancelled with us because they're not from the same household. So we're left with basically 4 bookings. It's probably, I reckon, about 90 to 95% down on last year.
Do the Tier 2 rules make sense, and is it logical that we're in Tier 2?
I understand them now, but for our customers, we had a nice lady email us. She's cancelled her booking for Sunday because she seems to think that they can only eat outside. So that's, it's confusing the public maybe more so than the landlords, landladies, the hospitality industry now. We understand it. I have now put together this morning a generic sort of reply if there's any confusions for people, saying Tier 2, you are allowed to eat inside. You are allowed to eat up to a table of 6 within your own family, household or bubble. So hopefully that'll make things easier for the customers.
And it's a similar story for Spelt, a cafe in Bampton which has welcomed customers back again after the latest lockdown.
Well, I think it's worse worse than the first time round. I think the first time round we all were crazy and decorating and tidying and cleaning. This time I think everybody was very depressing, you know, but I've invented a new menu and tweaked things around, so I haven't been idle, but not maybe as productive as I was the first time.
And of course we've come straight out of lockdown and now into tier 2. How has that been going into tier 2 after the lockdown?
I think we got used to what we had to do first. Now it's new rules and new regulations and just being mindful of all our customers and our staff, so we're just going to be extra careful. You know.
And of course with Christmas being a time where most years people have parties and group bookings, just how have you seen bookings this year?
It's not happening. I mean, we're lucky enough we can distance, but they can still see each other. So people, like I've had my ladies in this morning that would normally all sit together and have their coffees, they sat on separate tables, but they could still sort of gather, but not, you know, with a distance between them. So and like, yeah, the numbers, obviously I've had tables of 6 cancelled because they can't meet up with their friends.
Do the rules make sense and are they logical from your perspective?
Not in the slightest, but they never have been, have they? You know, yeah, we can work out what a substantial meal is. All through Twitter it's like, well, what happens? When they finish eating, can they have another drink? Or have they got to go? It's a very grey area, but then if they're giving you 10 o'clock last orders, but you don't have to leave until 11, surely that's then saying, get another bottle of wine. It's very, but I mean, I think people just have to be sensible.
And other restaurants which were forced to close have been thankful to all of those who have ordered a takeaway.
We didn't close, so we've been serving takeaway all the way through since the government have announced, and since then we've been like takeaways and delivery service that keeps us going, so we could keep our staff so we don't let them go as well. Everybody was on a short hours, but everybody got to be off like 2-3 days in a week to keep them going, keep me going as a owner of restaurant, you know, so I don't have to stop, you know. And now obviously government have announced on Thai 2 to open up the restaurant, but a lot of customers don't understand how the system is working. They're thinking like pub and restaurant, but long as obviously government said when you have food and alcohol license you are able to open up, so which we did. But we are finding a bit slow, but a lot of people asking a lot of questions how things are working, but you know, we just have to let everybody know that we are open now with social distance maintained. We have a big premises with the booths and everything, so we are providing all that. So I like to say, you know, thank you to all our customers, you know, for supporting us through the pandemic, and I like to see everybody soon in the restaurant.
So if you can, make sure to safely support our pubs and restaurants in what has been the most challenging of years. Lewis Clark, Devon Live, Mid Devon.